coming here today and appreciate the opportunity to discuss some of our caucus priorities moving forward in this next budget cycle. Senator Tavares will be here momentarily, but I just wanted to lay out that, since the election, we've seen the beginning of a nationwide movement as evidenced by the huge turnout for marches across the country last weekend. So there's a lot of passion out there, and we're just making sure that we harness that passion. We bring people's voices to the State House, and a lot of our legislation that you'll hear about directly reflects the needs and wants of Ohioans from every corner of the state. All Ohioans deserve good jobs, quality schools, strong communities, and affordable health care. So you'll hear a lot of our members going through those different categories, and we've kind of themed it as giving Ohioans a fair shot. And so when the members are going through, we're packaging all of these ideas, bills, under the theme of giving every Ohioan a fair shot. Senator Skindell, do you want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So since the Great Recession, too many Ohioans have been struggling. And although we have seen some sluggish job increases in Ohio, there has not been good paying jobs created. And what we're trying to do is making sure as a caucus that we bring forward legislation giving all Ohioans a fair shot in our economy. And not just those Ohioans, like we have seen in most recent laws that have favored a small number of wealthy donors and lobbyists, but rather our agenda is going to try to give everybody a fair shot in the economy, making sure that they have a good paying job and protections within those jobs to make sure that Ohioans can get the education that they need to be successful in our economy, and to make sure that they have a dignified retirement later in life. In order to make that possible, Ohioans need access to quality education, affordable health care, and fair treatment under the law. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Senator Yuko.
Thank you very much, Senator Skindell. Most of you know it's probably worst kept secret in Ohio that 2016, the last 4 or 5 months, and this month so far, I've been spending an awful lot of time in hospitals dealing with the cancer issue I have to deal with. One thing it's done is gave me a great opportunity to be educated firsthand about the concerns that our citizens have all throughout Ohio with insurance coverage, cost of care, and most importantly, the access to care. And we're very worried and we're concerned because we have 700,000 Ohioans who are now insured as a result of the Affordable Health Care Act. Something that it didn't have before, something I fought for as a union leader for 30 years, something I fought for as a state representative for 8 years, and something I'm fighting for as your state senator right now. And the reality is right now that if more Ohioans have health insurance coverage through their employers, the insurance marketplace, and through Medicaid, but protecting that coverage and the quality of coverage for these Ohioans has got to be a top priority for this senator and for this Democratic caucus. We're going to keep an eye on what's happening with Washington. The federal government is going to react, or we need to react to what the federal government is going to be doing and make sure that the gains that we made in the last several years continue to happen and that we continue to address the needs of Ohioans who have health care concerns. There's also something very important we need to discuss that's touched not only every square inch of Ohio, but the entire country. And that's the attention that we need to place on heroin. Right now we have an epidemic in the entire country. Ohio is no exception to that. It's affected every single community, every single corner of our state, and virtually every single family that I know of. That means more investments in addiction and mental health services, something we've done a decent job on, but we need to do better. Now I'd like to turn this over to Senator Thomas, who's going to talk about his role with criminal justice.
Thank you, Senator Yuko. As you all know, that criminal justice has been an issue not only in the state of Ohio, but around the country. The Senate Democrats, we're committed to making criminal justice reforms a reality as much as possible in the state of Ohio. We have made progress in recent years in areas such as sentencing reform. but there's a lot more work to be done. We also need to find and increase, fund and increase police community relations, police training. That has been a very difficult issue relative to de-escalation skills training, mental health skills training, as well as cultural competency training. A lot of your smaller agencies do not have the resources to allow for this additional training. Much of your larger departments do provide it. So funding for this type of training, some type of subsidized funding for the smaller agencies through the state is one area that will go a long way in maybe preventing a Ferguson situation of what occurred in Cincinnati in 2001. We're also committed to working on bail bond system reform. You know, it makes no sense that someone who is locked up in jail because they cannot afford to pay a bond. However, they're not a risk of flight or a risk of threat to the community. They're only in there because they cannot afford it. We, as Senate Democrats, think that there should be some reform there to address that particular issue. Maybe look at a risk assessment type of method by which to hold people in jail as opposed to the ability to pay. A couple of other quick areas, reducing our prison population. That is a really critical issue which goes along with sentencing reform. And finally, body cameras that police officers will be wearing all over the state. What kind of policies should we put in place that address these particular issues? So these are the kinds of things we'll be working on. And now I will turn it over to Senator Sykes for issues of education.
Well, we can all agree that education of both kindergarten through 12th grade and higher education should be a top priority for the General Assembly. Unfortunately, this state has not treated education as a priority when it comes to funding. Every child in the state deserves a fair shot at a quality education. Particularly, we are concerned about and disappointed that the Governor Kasich's proposed budget has only a 1% increase in funding in the upcoming budget. That's just really not good enough. We're also putting emphasis on early childhood education. Senate Democrats strongly support more investment in early childhood development because the evidence is overwhelming that it makes a big difference. Research shows that children who participate in preschool are more likely to develop strong reading skills. Children who attend high-quality preschools are less likely to be held back in school and more likely to finish high school and get better jobs. That's reducing prison rolls and welfare rolls. In the General Assembly, Democrats and Republicans, in this last General Assembly, Democrats and Republicans were able to work together on a bipartisan basis to pass meaningful charter school reforms. And I believe that there's an opportunity to do the same for early childhood development. And particularly, we know that a Republican Senator, Peggy Lehner, is a very strong, outspoken person as it deals with this particular issue. And we hope to really work with her on this issue. And now I turn it over to Senator Schiavoni.
Senator Tavares is actually going to address